In this lesson, we're going to continue with selection in Photoshop, and we're going to see some more advanced selection. Now, in the previous lesson, we saw how we can crop, and we can also cut and paste part of the image, and also how we can generate new artificial intelligence content, and also how we can remove parts of the image that we don't need. So we already talked about using the simple selection tools. We're going to move forward with the Lazo, the Polygonal Lazo, the magnetic Lazo, and also these other more advanced selection tools, which are the object selection, quick selection, and magic wand. So I'm going to use an image here. I want to start with another feature of the cropping tool. So I need an image that is not perfectly aligned to the horizon. So let me just go here and open one of my photos. So I'm gonna go in my folder here, and there you go. You can see this one here is clearly not straight. So there is a tool in a Photoshop that can help us. And actually we already use this because it's the cropping tool. So again, it's about cropping, but this time we're not gonna only crop, we're also going to adjust this image. Now you see up here, you have a straighten tool. Now all we need to do once this is activated is we can go here and just drag, click once, and then sorry. Okay, now we just click and with the left mouse, and then hold and drag this kind of a tape to define the position of the horizon. Okay, now that's good. Now we do see some anti-aliasing here, but don't worry, it's gonna be gone when we apply. Now we already talked about the generative expand. So if I use generative expand here, it's just gonna fill this with new content. Now we already done that, so I'm just gonna leave the transparent default. And also it's gonna tell us how we can crop this image. So the part that we can still use, you can see like this. So what I'm gonna do is just, make it also a little bit smaller so that I don't see those borders. But again, if you want, you can generate extra content using the generative expand, as we already did in the previous lesson. So I'm not gonna do that again. Just wanna show you how you can go there and straighten the horizon. You can also do this like more times, and if you click here, you can also straighten yourself by using these grids, and you can use different grids if you want here. And when you're ready, say okay. I'm just gonna take another image because I want to do a Photomontage. I've used this one you see here, and this is an example of Photomontage. And this is a mask right here in the layer, this black and white, but we're gonna talk about later. And you can see this is also an example of generative content. And also we can also delete parts, again, as we saw in the previous lesson. So I want to show you this how to do a photo montage like this, but I'm gonna use another image. So I'm gonna open up another image that I can use to do the photo montage. I want to have like a sea landscape. Yeah, perhaps we can use this. So I'm gonna open this, and let's see if this is straight. So I'm just gonna click and drag here a line like this, and you can see it was not exactly straight, but now it's definitely straight. So I straighten this up, and now let's move on to the other picture that I want to use. So I want to go here, file, open, and use this picture right here. There you go. Now let's see what tools we have to do more accurate selection to cut off parts of this image and do a photo montage. Now of course you cannot do this with the squares and circles. It will be like really long to do this, or perhaps impossible. So we do have some tools that we can use in Photoshop that can help us. Now the first one we're going to see is the Lazo tool. Now this is a tool that it's really fast, but you need to be really stable with your hands unless you have like perhaps a tablet or a graphic tab with a graphic pen. And there you go. So you can be really accurate. You need to have like a really stable hand if you work with the mouse. Now, sometimes you don't need a precise selection. So for example, if I just need to do like color correction on this part of the image, well, perhaps I don't need to be so precise. So I can be just quick like this, close the selection roughly, and then maybe I can just work with the adjustment layers here. So if I go in the adjustment window, I can work with changing like not the overall image in this case. When you do a selection, you can just work on that part of the image. So you can make it like black and white or other types of layers. So if you need to do color correction and something that is not so visible, well, it doesn't matter if you do like a quick selection like this or if you go like into the really tiny details. Also remember that you have feather, so by increasing the feather, you increase a little bit the blending between the selection that you're cutting and the rest of the image. So if I just cut without the feather here, let's right click and create a layer via copy. So you can see that this is going to be pretty straight, and you need to be careful here because if I let me show you, if I move this, well, we'll see that there's a little bit of hat there, and since you have this background, also it's easier to see to hide the problems. But if you like place it here, you can see the little white areas here, and you have these bluish areas here. So you need to be really careful on the contours on the edges. While if you use, let me delete this. If you use a little bit of feather while you are selecting, actually, I'm just going to go back, Control Z, so I can retrieve that selection. So if you use feather right here, or you right click and feather right here, or you can also do it down here, click and do feather. Well, that's going to be like a little bit more blended, a little bit softer. So if I now do again, right click and layer via copy, and I'm going quick with this because we did this also in the previous lesson, and so I'm just gonna go quick, and also we are increasing the level of difficulty, let's say like this. So you can see that it's a little bit more blended. So it's kind of blending with the background a little bit more. Well, depending what you need to do, you can see that here we have like a lot of transparency, so could be good or could be not. So we're gonna see that we have more advanced selection. So don't worry, just gonna show you the first thing here, and then you have Polygonal Lazo. Now Polygonal Lazo, you don't need to have like a stable hand. You just need to click, and again you can click real fast here. Doesn't matter if you're not precise. That's not what this tool was intended for. Perhaps this is better when you have like straight lines like buildings or things that are not soft, but you can also always soft this out by going into the feather. There you go. You can just make it a little bit more smooth, and we already saw also other adjusting that you can do. And you can also do the quick mask. So let me just show you the last one, which is going to be the magnetic lazo. It's similar to the lazo, but in this case, you're going to be helped by the software. So you can see you just need to click approximately where you want to create the selection, and it's going to help you finding that edge. Now, the selection like this, or usually any smart tool in Photoshop uses the pixels. So now it's really easy for him to understand that we have like an object here which is totally different from the background. So when you have a background like this, you are helped by the image itself, and also Photoshop can be a quicker job because there is a lot of contrast between the background and the foreground, so it's easier for him. Now, don't forget that you also have some additional features up here, like the possibility to add to the selection or subtract, or again, you can feather a little bit, and you can use anti-aliasing. You can change also the width. or so the distance from the edge to consider when creating a path, and also the contrast, so the contrast between pixels while you are defining a path, and also the frequency of the placement of the points. Now remember that you can also help the placement of the points by clicking. While you move around and define the selection with the magnetic lasso, you can also click and like guide a little bit the selection. Now again, you see that to change this, we can use also something that we already seen before, which is the fill. So I can right click and fill this. Maybe I can fill it with black or with the foreground color, which is this one here is right now is red, or you can fill it with content aware or pattern or other stuff. But let's like fill it with a color. So let's say I want to fill this with the I don't know, like azure color. And you can also decide the blending. So let's just fill it right now. And you can always go back by right clicking and go here to fade the fill. And by the way, it's always better to create a copy so you can not affect the original. You can always save the original. But anyway, let's play around here. You can play with the opacity here. And you also have blending modes, which are really interesting. So if you click on one, then you can use the arrows on your keyboards to go down and see all the other effects and see which one works the best for you. So you can see this soft light is really, nice and blended, or you can just invert. So you can make like a difference here. And so play around with all these different blending modes. And we're also going to talk about these later. So I just want to use this kind of red hat effect and say okay. And when I deselect, so right click and deselect, you won't see the difference. So if you go like from a distance like this, you won't tell the difference. So again, this can be used, I think, for like quick selection and replacement like this, but then you need to adjust them if you want to do like a complete photo montage. Now, also, if I use the magnetic lasso here, it's going to be long to like select all the image here. So I need to go and zoom a lot in there and use the pan. And while do this, it's also going to create like points that I don't want. Now to get rid of those points, you can hit the backspace keys to go back. So I want to go back here a little bit, backspace, and then continue. And then click to help the magnetic lasso to define the edge of what I want to cut. And again, it's going to be really, really long because I need to go like all the way, all around here. It's going to take like a lot of time. Now, we do have other extraordinary tools here that can help us to be quicker. And these are right here. Now, the first one is the object selection, which is kind of similar to this one here, select subject. You see that when I like roll over here with this one here, it's gonna like automatically understand that that's kind of a separated element. And again, this is better when you have let's say a monochrome background, or like just blue or white or green is going to be faster. This is why the green screen is used many times. So you can also do select subject, by the way, which is again artificial intelligence, and is going to quickly see here, it's going to quickly select the entire part that I really want. Now to fix this in some parts, we can then move on to another tool, which is the select and mask or quick mask. So you can go from here, or you can, let me just change selection because this is kind of a little bit, aggressive. So right click, you can also go here, select and mask, or you can go up here, select and mask. So if I go here, this is kind of a more advanced tool. And I've set this to be like red on the background, and so I can understand better what is the difference between what I am selecting at the moment and what is going to be removed, which is the part in the red. Now if I go here, you can also change, and you have like onion skin, marching hands, overlay, on black, on white, black and white. This is the alpha channel, by the way, so the mask, and on layers directly. So this is how it's gonna look like when I'm gonna delete the part. So really interesting visualization. Now you can also apply here to show just the edge or show the original, and you can activate the high quality preview. You can increase the opacity, you can change the color, and you have some presets, or you can save presets here, and you can remember these settings for the following lesson. The refinement mode could be like color aware or object aware. So it's going to change a little bit. Then you have edge detection. So you can like increase the radius. See that there, how it's going to affect the selection. Probably is a little bit too much. So be careful, because every time you have a kind of a threshold, it's going to let you like select more or less. But you need to be careful, because all of this is going to affect the selection. And then you have the smooth, so you can smooth everything out, make a smoother selection, or you can feather. Yeah, there you go, too much. So be careful. Just a little feather will be fine. Don't exaggerate with feather. And then you can work with the contrast. You can see you can increase the contrast, so decrease the blurriness in the edge. And you can also shift the edge, so you can make it, you see, pretty big, which is not good, because it's going to take that outline, and we don't want that. And also we don't want to like cut too many parts inside, so you can shift the edge a little bit to make it better. And you can also clear the selection, or you can invert. So by inverting, I'm gonna just, take this, delete this, and leave the rest. So really advanced tool. You can output this to a selection, to a layer mask, to a new layer, to a new layer with a layer mask, so you can do a lot of operation. And you also have tools right here. And the first one is going to be the quick selection tool. So for example, if I click in there, well, to remove that, actually, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to like invert. I'm going to click that. And you can see that I can try to make him understand that I don't want that part. And then again, I can invert and say that I want that part in there. So it's a quick selection, really important to use. Now, when you have like trees or leaves or hair, you can also refine the selection with this. You can also zoom in by holding the Alt key and scrolling the scroll wheel, or using here the zoom or the pan. So to refine this, you can use this. And this is again good when you have like hair or leaves, and it's pretty difficult to select in there. Well, it's still a little bit difficult. You can also adjust the size here. So sometimes you have like difficult situation, you need to spend more time on that. But in this case, it's just a detail, and perhaps I don't want that. So I can also again select this, and if I hold the Alt key, I can deselect parts. So I don't want all these tree here to come with me. So I'm just gonna paint on top of this by holding the Alt key and removing instead of adding to the selection. And also here, probably I don't want that. So once you're finished, see, it's going to take time, but once you finish, you say okay, and that's the selection right there. So if I want to bring this now to the other layer, I can just create a layer via copy, create a layer via cut. So let's just do a new layer here, and then I can take this, Control C, and then I can bring it here, Control V, and there you go. So that's the Photomontage right there. And you can see the bottom, there's a little bit of blending of feather, which is fine. So it's gonna like, blend a little bit more with the rest of the image. Maybe I'm gonna do this bigger, hold the Shift key to maintain the proportion, try to have the correct size in there. And let me just, well, if you wanna like make everything a little bit more unite, you can use the adjustments. So when you apply one of these adjustments, like the light is going to be similar, so it's going to be like more blended together. So I don't know which one I want to use. Probably I'm going to go with this one here, not something really mild. And now I want to show you a couple of extra examples. Now, before I move on, I want to just go back here and show you that you still have this one right here. So this is the quick selection that we saw in the mask, and you can use it also here. So you can click and continue to add to the selection, or you can hold the Alt key and subtract to the selection. You can also go from here, so you have like new and add to selection, subtract to selection, pretty similar to what we saw previously. And you can change the size of the brush, so if you want to go more in details. And there you go. I have also this here, and I want to add like this part. So you can go here and refine by going smaller and smaller. Now you also have this sample of layers. When you have like more than one layer, you want to work with both or with all the layers. You can sample all layers, and you can enhance the edge. So it's going to automatically enhance the selection edge. And you can also use here the select subject using the device, which is going to be quicker, or the cloud, which is going to be more detailed. And also then we can go back to select a mask again from here, and we can continue in here with the same exact tool, but with the help of these other parameters that we just saw. And also one final selection tool could be the magic wand. So this is one of the oldest selection tools in Photoshop, and this is also working with pixels. So when you click, let me just change here to do a new selection. So when you click, it's gonna find the similar pixels. So if you click like in the red spot, it's gonna look for red pixels. If you click here on the black, it's gonna look for black, and so on. Now you can adjust the tolerance. So if you decrease the tolerance, it's gonna get less pixel variation in terms of colors. If you increase this value, it's gonna take basically everything. If you say 255, which is gonna be like almost the maximum range. So you need to find something in between when you need to select something real quick with one single click like this. You can also delete the part here. So I want to delete the background. I want to substitute with a color. Or if I want to like after transparency, I need to double click on this layer and unlock it. So when I delete, I have a transparent background. So this is also an excellent tool, but now we have like more advanced tools with the artificial intelligence, but we can still use this. And again, we have also some options here. So you can change the sample size. You can have contiguous. So basically when it's going to select only the contiguous pixels, so it's not going to jump. So if you deactivate this, it's going to take all the blue in the rest of the image, not just the ones that are next to the other. And then you have sample layers also here, and also here you have device and cloud, and also here you have, of course, select and mask to go back to the more advanced. And again, we can invert here. Now I want to finish with a couple of images that I got from Pexels. So this is the author right here, and the name is right here. So if you want to take it also yourself to use it, and also this one here. So I chosen this because they don't have like a clear background. So it's it should be more difficult to select all around here, whether if you use the magnetic wand, the magnetic lasso, or the magic wand, or wherever you use, it's going to be difficult because we don't have like clear with the one color background. And so I just want to show you this couple of situations. So you can see again the name here and the author. You can also donate if you want. So I'm just gonna close this, and let's see it right here. So I'm just gonna close also this, and there you go. So I have the image right here. Now when you open an image, you now have these like smart tools or artificial intelligence. So if I go here, select subject, it's gonna like automatically understand that that's the subject with the picture. So it's really amazing feature here. Now you see we have some fixing to do, especially in transparent parts, which are again a bit difficult, just like the trees and the hair. So there I probably need to adjust with the magic wand, or like perhaps with the quick selection. I need to see there, it just went up there, so I need to subtract. So it's sometimes with these details is going to be like a little bit more painful. And also down here you see we have this part we don't need, so I'm gonna hold the Alt key and deselect. There you go, now I fixed that. And well, again, if you need to do something really quick, like adjust the rest of the image, so you can see I just changed black and white, just the subject, or let's like invert, so right click and well, I don't have invert here, so let me just select this, and oh, I don't have invert here, so I'm just gonna go like select a mask and invert it from here. And so I can now work on the background, so I can make it like black and white and leave just the, oops, this is the whole image. So let me go back, Control Z, and let me apply this. So you see everything is black and white except for the subjects. So this is something you can do real quick without spending too much time in cutting perfectly the edges. That's just when you need to do photo montage. But again, you see we have these really amazing tools in Photoshop. Let me just finish with this other one right here. Again, we have a really complex background, but if I go here and do select subject, it's gonna be amazingly intelligent to understand that I want that. You see there, and just little fixing to do there, perhaps with the magic wand or with the Poligonal Lazo or whatever the one that you prefer here, you can use. So you can see I can fix that, and yeah, be careful because I need to add to the selection here. So I want to add that part, and there you go. And maybe I will fix also that by subtracting with holding the Alt key, and then I could adjust something there also. But you see, it's really, really intelligent, and it's going to help me real quick to define the areas that we want. And of course, also, let me just right click and right click deselect. And of course, you have the object selection. So usually this also does a really great job. You can see just roll over. You can see kind of understand the various parts of the image. So I just need to select and wait, and that's it. So still need to fix that in the bottom, but you know, we get enough good result here to work with, to continue to work. So I can continue with select and mask or all the other tools. So this is gonna be it for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more, and please join the channel as a supporter to help us to make more videos, to thank us and to support us. So check also our other video courses and video guides in the channel, and see you in the next lesson.